Have we got a 10 out of 10 designer fragrance for casual wear, or do we have a dud? Prada L'homme was released in 2016. You can get the 1.7 ounce and the 3.4 ounce from anywhere between $80 and $100 American. But if you go on places like fragrancenet.com and or Fragrance X or Strawberry Net, you can find it pretty much for anywhere between 60 to 70 for the 100 ml bottle. Prada L'homme starts out with neroli and black pepper. And then it goes into a mid of iris, geranium, and a little bit of amber. And then it dries down with some cedar and patchouli. This fragrance starts out with a really nice floral, citrusy, fresh scent, and then transitions into a clean and sweet scent. Prada L'homme has a metallic sweetness to it that definitely reminds me of two fragrances, that one of which I adore and the other is just a little bit more of an art concept of a fragrance. If you know Platinum Egoist by Chanel, you know that there is a geranium note in that as well that makes the fragrance a little bit more metallic smelling. And I think that there's a little bit of that in this scent, as well as Etat Libre d'Orange Secretions Magnifique. That one's a little bit more bombastic, as you guys probably already know. But it does, when it starts to dry down in that fragrance, kind of have like this milky coconut metallic accord, and there's a little bit of that going on in this Prada fragrance. It never goes so much in the metallic direction that makes it sickening or kind of make your stomach turn, but it peeks its head out just a little bit, and it adds to that freshness of the citrus, I think. Overall, L'homme, as far as scent goes, really becomes this nice, warm, ambery iris with a little bit of that freshness that never leaves. It kind of makes it so it's clean and invigorating and sensual and sweet and fun, and it can even be dressed up, all wrapped into one. It's kind of a Swiss Army knife as far as a fragrance goes, in my opinion. And to be honest, it garners a lot of compliments. So if you're looking for something that's one of those Swiss Army knives that you want to buy like one bottle, you can use in the office, you can use at school, you can use going out on a date, this is definitely one that's a contender. Performance for L'homme is pretty decent. The sillage is actually a little bit above average, I think. I think that basically anywhere I walk with this fragrance on, by the way, I use anywhere between 3 to 5 sprays depending on the temperature outside. And I think that the more my body kind of warms up, the better this fragrance kind of projects and or leaves a sillage. And people can smell it from 1 or 2 people away or so. So it's pretty decent when it comes to that. The longevity is anywhere between 6 to 8 hours on my skin, again, depending on my body temperature and how hot it is outside or inside. And the overall performance for me is pretty decent, especially for a fragrance that relies heavily on floral notes and citrus-based notes, with just a little bit of that woods and patchouli and amber backing it up. So it does pretty well for me as far as the performance goes. Overall, to answer your question that's at the beginning of the video, I think that this fragrance is magnificent. I know that a lot of people have compared this to Dior Homme. We got Uomo that it's compared to. I will say that this is in the same vein as Dior Homme, which is an amazing fragrance. But if you want me to be perfectly honest, my personal reaction to this fragrance was, as soon as I sprayed it on at Sephora and tried it out, I basically went home and purchased a bottle. I let it transition through a couple hours. I fell in love with it. Dior Homme and Dior Homme Intense. Well, Dior Homme Intense for me back in the day was a blind buy, but Dior Homme was a little bit more of a push and pull relationship. I liked it, and then I learned to love it over time. I think the more wearings I had, but this was like instantaneous. I loved this right off the bat because I think it's that perfect combination of pleasing the general population and being a little bit on the more seductive, more bombastic, more it's kind of a risky type scent, I think. So it's kind of a combination of both. Maybe not so risky anymore now that we have all these fragrances that are kind of jumping on the bandwagon of using the iris as a prominent note in men's fragrance, but I do think that there are a lot of men out there that still would find this type of fragrance to be a little bit daring and they wouldn't grab for it. But this for me was a perfect combination of all those elements, and I personally adore it, and I will say that most people that I wear this around end up either complimenting it and or enjoying it with me. I will say that Prada L'homme is a perfect 9 out of 10, almost perfect, like ultra perfect 10 out of 10, but not quite making the mark, just because if it was a little bit more risky, a little bit more daring, a little bit more edgy, then maybe it would have made a 10 out of 10 if the performance was better, although the performance is pretty decent. But overall, this fragrance is a solid 9 out of 10 release for me, a very decent release from Prada, and I think just overall a wonderful addition to anyone's wardrobe for fragrance. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.